This is great, man. This is a really good...
Hi, this is Hans. I wanted to go over an orb that we captured at our UFO sighting event on April 17, 2016 at Hollydale Park in Southgate. There's been a few people out there saying that this is a weather balloon and then throwing out a few fake facts. It concerns me that people within our UFO community are putting out straight-up lies and misinformation. This is seriously reminiscent of what a shill does. I think it's important for people to recognize these people and their fallacies when they offer up their fake facts and opinions. If someone you respect on the internet puts out false information, you have to suspect that they're trying to steer you away from the truth. So let's move on. So let's just go over a few facts of what we will see with a weather balloon or observational balloon. First of all, you'll need to notify and get a permit from the FAA. Once you get permission, you will need to issue a Notice of Airman message, a NOTAM, with time and date of the launch, which will notify the pilots that you will fly your balloon in this particular area. Hollydale Park is about 12 miles from LAX, near the return flight path for LAX. FAA regulations require weather balloons or observational balloons to be at least 22 nautical miles or 25 miles from airports. Why? Because they're dangerous. They contain metal parts and cords that could gum up an engine or propeller. They're much more dangerous than birds. Besides, you want to be away from the population because you don't want to be climbing over someone's fence to get in someone's backyard to retrieve your GoPro. The bigger the balloon, the bigger and heavier the necktie. The necktie is a fill tube and a connector. This is what you want to connect the tether to or equipment. The reason why people use bigger balloons is to carry more equipment. The bigger the balloon, the thicker and heavier the balloon's connector fill tube is. It's got to be able to sustain and enforce the weight put on it. It's called a neck lift. When deciding what size balloon to use, you first have to find out how much your equipment will weigh. Just as with party balloons, the necktie is what you use to fill the balloon, as well as putting on a connector. Of course, balloons have a much larger fill tube and connector than with a party balloon. But the same thing happens with both. Since the fill tube and connector are the heaviest external surface structures on the balloon, it generally points down due to gravity. Not only does the fill tube connector protrude from the surface of the weather balloon, the coloration is different. It's darker. Here's an example. This is something we captured we initially thought was an orb. But once we stabilized this on the computer, you could see that the object is oblong and has a discolored necktie. Weather balloons' fill tube connectors are 100 times bigger and heavier than party balloons. My point is, they generally point down. You can't imagine this away. Now, it may flail, but eventually you're going to see it hang down from the bottom. This attachment exists. Now, you can imagine away, by magic, the fill tube and connector, but the fact is that it's there. The facts are not going to go away. They will remain. People have to come to terms with this. Making excuses it's not there or denying its existence is fallacious. The people that don't understand this are just not ready for understanding, and now their ego is involved. Weather balloons and observational balloons carry payloads. Now, is it possible a bunch of novice ballooners forget one of the most important aspects of their experiments by not attaching or loosely attaching the equipment tether onto their filler connector tube? Yes, I guess it's possible, but I could be wrong. One thing I wouldn't say is that it's probable. If the equipment tether fell off the fill connector tube, there'd still be a connector tube. If the equipment tether tore off the fill connector tube, the balloon would go flat in a second. It would fall to the ground like a ton of bricks. One of my favorite observational balloon launches ascended 115,000 feet in 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's about 10 to 12 miles an hour. That's not moving slow. If anyone has watched the release of a weather balloon, it cooks. If you watch carefully, there's only one direction it's going, and that's up. Now, wind may blow it from side to side, but wind will not hold it in one position. It will not push it down for over 8 minutes. As you could see, what we captured doesn't have any equipment dangling from it. If it were a weather balloon, shouldn't it be rising faster? This orb eventually started moving away from us, slowly moving out of our eyesight until it was gone. One of the things I wanted to get across for people is to be aware of those, quote, ufologists that claim to be, quote, in the field and look up in the sky yet have no photos or videos to prove it. Those are the people that are sitting behind their computers making pictures and talking crap and impulsively judging on stuff they don't understand. They're doing a disservice to the UFO community, well, which is probably what their intention is anyway. If it's not your intention, duplicate what you see and tape yourself doing it. If you see a weird color balloon, find it on the internet and post it. That shouldn't be hard. Some people say that these objects mimic balloons as a protective mechanism, like a grasshopper looking like a leaf, or possibly some sort of mechanical surveillance thing. I don't know. But with my experience, they usually give us something that gives them away. I call it indications of imitation. This is what makes ufology fun for me. You cannot impulsively judge. You have to scrutinize everything thoroughly, especially after you call for them to come to your location. Hopefully, we'll see you next time at our UFO sighting event. Thanks for listening.